Hi, so for today we are going to talk about calculator techniques for engineering board exam. So we're going to continue our discussion all about the calculator techniques. And for today's video, we are going to talk about the quadratic and cubic equation calculator techniques. So basically, we are going to solve for the roots of the equations involving quadratic, cubic, and even raised to 4, okay, polynomials in our algebra topic for calculator techniques. So let's get started. So for number 1, find the roots of y equals 2x squared plus x minus 6. So just like what we did on getting the roots of a linear equation or a linear polynomial, so we're going to go to the mode equation, mode 5. And in this case, since we are dealing with the quadratic, so we will be clicking number 3 as it says ax squared plus bx plus c. So we are going to simply uh, write the coefficients, okay, in the form a, b, c. So we are going to let y equals 0, of course, to get the roots. So we have 2 for x squared, one coefficient for our x, and then negative 6 for our constant value. Okay? So again, click equal sign. So we have 3 halves and then negative 2. Since the equation is quadratic, it should give you 2 roots because it's quadratic. Well, if it's cubic, it should give you 3 roots. Okay? So we have the values of 3 halves and negative 2. So our answer here for number 1 is letter A. So the manual computation of this is that you can use quadratic equation, you can use factoring, okay? So but if you in case you forgot of those methods, you can use your calculator to easily find the roots of the equation in quadratic equation. Okay? So it's very easy. So let's go now to number 2. So the same problem, it says that we have to find the roots of y equals 9x squared minus 12x plus 4. So again, the same thing that we're going to do. Okay, so we have to put this equation into its standard form. Okay, so in this case, it's already in the form, okay, that the calculator requires us to do. So we have 9, we have negative 12. Just input the coefficients. And then we have 4. Be careful also to include the sign. Okay? So, again, press equal sign. So, we have 2/3. Okay? So, it's 2/3. It's only 2/3. When the calculator actually releases only one value, in this case, it's 2/3. Okay, x equals 2/3. Never mind the x value minimum or y value minimum. So, x is 2/3. It means that the root of this equation is what? Repeating roots. It's 2/3. It's actually uh, 2/3 and 2/3. So repeating. So it should have two roots because it's quadratic. So in this case, since it's repeating, the root is understood to be 2/3 and 2/3. So our answer should be letter D for this problem. Okay. So to check, okay, we can go back to computation and then we can enter 9x squared minus 12x plus 4. And then we can solve, okay, by calculating calc, entering the root, okay. If this is the correct root, this should equal to 0. So that's the case. It's equal to 0. So that is really the root according to the remainder theorem. If that is a root, okay, when we substitute it in our polynomial, it should have a remainder that is 0. Okay? So that is how we do it. So for number 3, given the quadratic, the factors. So we are given a factor of a quadratic equation. 3x minus 1 and 4x minus 1. What is the equation? So in just in case you forgot to perform this FOIL method and simplifying, okay, that's very basic. But of course, we have to use calculator techniques in order for us to answer this question. So we have the factors 3x minus 1 and 4x minus 1. So we are to find the equation, the quadratic equation. So what are we going to do is, we have 3x minus 1. We have to isolate, we have to equate, sorry, we have to equate first 3x minus 1 equals 0 and 4x minus 1 equals 0. And then we're going to isolate x. Okay? So imagine we have 3x minus 1 equals 0 here. Upon isolating x, we get transposing negative 1. This becomes 3x equals 1. And then divided both sides by 3. So x equals 1/3. So we have a value that is, first, x equals 1/3. Okay? And then for this equation, again, it's we're going to isolate x. So we transpose negative 1 on the other side. So that becomes 4x equals 1. Get the value of x, that's 1/4. So we have 1/3 and 1/4 as the roots, okay, of the quadratic equation that we are going to find. So if 1/3 and 1/4 is the roots, if I'm going to substitute here the 1/3 and the value of 1/4 in the choices, it should be both 0. The since we are finding the equation, that is the equation. If the 1/3 and 1/4 we substitute it, then that should be 0 according to the remainder theorem. So what are we going to do is, we are going to substitute it all, okay, on the given choices. Okay, so we have to calculate x 1/3. Okay, if that not automatically goes to 0, then you should proceed. Why? Okay, because it is not the equation. Okay, so 1/3 still not the equation. So let's try letter B. So we have 12x squared minus 7x plus 1. Calculate using 1/3 the value of the x. Oops. It should be minus. Okay. Calculate x is 1/3 or 0.3333. So 0. So be careful. It only equals to 0 for 1/3. But it should be both for 1/3 and 1/4 since the two are the roots. So again, let's try 1/4. Okay? So if this equals to 0, then that is the equation. If it does not, then that is not the equation. It should be both 0 for 1/3 and 1/4. So 0. So this would be our answer. We need not to go through the other choices because both of them has a remainder of 0, 1/3 and 1/4 when we substitute it on the multiple choice or letter B equation. Okay? So if we are going to try furthermore, okay, in letter C, oops. So it should not equal 0. Okay? That's the point. So we have 1/3. Okay. Okay, so it's not equal to 0. So there's no chance. So we have only one correct answer here. That is letter B. Okay? So just in case you forgot to perform FOIL. Okay? So let's try number 4. The equation whose roots are the reciprocals of the root in the equation 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals 0 is. So the question is actually asking us, okay, we are going to find first the root of this given equation and then we are going to reciprocate it. Upon reciprocating it or getting the reciprocal of the roots of this equation, what is the equation? Okay, so this means that one of the choices here has a root that is a reciprocal of the root of the given equation here. Okay, so what are we going to do first is to find the root of this. Okay, and then get the reciprocal of that root, and then finally substitute that roots in the given multiple choices. So, mode 5, 3. So, we have 2. We have negative 3. We have negative 5. Okay? So, checking for the signs. We have 5 halves and negative 1. So, 5 halves and negative 1 are the roots of this. So, it says we are going to find the what? The equation that has a reciprocal of these roots. So we have 5 halves and negative 1. So we have 5 halves, negative 1. So that means the roots okay, that we are going to find is 2/5 and negative 1. Since the reciprocal of 5/2 is 2/5 and the reciprocal of negative 1 is still negative 1. So we have 2/5 and negative 1. So we're going to go on our choices and substitute 2/5 and negative 1, and if that both equal to 0, then that is the equation that we are trying to find. That is the equation that has us had the reciprocal roots of this given equation. So we have 2 alpha x squared minus 5x minus 3. So we have 2/5 and negative 1. Okay. So that does not equal to 0. I would not proceed with negative 1 because that would not be the answer. Let's proceed with letter B. 5x squared minus 2 alpha x minus 3. Calculate it with 2/5. So negative 3 does not equal to 0. Let's proceed with letter C. So we have 5 alpha x squared plus 3 alpha x minus 2. Calculate 2/5. Okay. So 0. Okay. For 2/5, it's 0. It equates to 0. How about for negative 1? They should both equal to 0. If that it does not equal to 0, then that is not the answer. Both of them should equal to 0 if we are trying to find the roots. So it's 0. So basically, the answer here would be letter C. Okay, that is the equation. This letter C equation is the has a roots that is reciprocal of the given root in the question. Okay, so it's pretty easy, right? If you really know the concept. Okay, if you really know the how to calculate or how to use your calculator. Okay. Okay, let's proceed with problem number 5. Which of the following is the factor of 2x raised to 4 plus 11x squared y squared minus 6y raised to 4? So this is a little bit tricky, okay? But since our calculator can only solve up to, our given calculator is can only solve up to the third power. So what are we going to do is, we are going to split the x raised to 4 here, okay? X raised to 4 here into x squared. And the same with the 11x squared here, excluding the y because we can only solve for the calculator as a single variable. So we're going to get the x squared here, and then the x here, and then the constant value negative 6 here, excluding the y, okay, or the y squared. So what we're going to do is that we know, okay, that if we get the roots, for example, mode 5(3), we have to go in the x squared, okay, in the quadratic. So I'm going to input 2, okay, quadratic, and then I have 11 as my x, okay, here. And then I'm going to input negative 6. So, what root am I going to get here is equal to what? To x squared. Okay, again, the root that must appear here is equal to x squared. Okay, so we have x sub 1, 1/2, and negative 6. So that 1/2 is really x squared because we have extracted x squared here. Okay? And then we still have x squared here. So this x sub 1 is really x squared. X squared equals 1/2. But take note, since we have y squared here, okay? So since we have a y squared here, the middle term has a y squared here. So we should multiply this 1/2 by y squared. So we have the value of x squared equals 1/2 y squared. So that's the factor. And another one is x squared equals negative 6y squared. So looking on the choices, okay, so looking on the choices, we know that we have two factors, but we only have one answer. Okay? So since the choices has only one factor. So we have x squared here in our calculator equals negative 6y squared. Again, we multiply y squared here because we have a y squared here. Okay? So we have x squared equals negative 6y squared. If I'm going to transpose negative 6y squared onto the left side, so it becomes x squared plus 6y squared. In this case, we see that that is the letter B. Okay? So, x squared plus 6y squared is the correct answer for this problem. I hope you get what I'm trying to explain. Okay? So, we have x squared plus 6y squared as our answer. Again, this problem is unique because we don't have to have any values of x squared and y squared. We don't know the values of that. Okay? Okay. Let's proceed with problem number 6. If the roots of the equation are negative 1, 2, and 4, what is the equation? Okay, so the roots of the equation are given. So we are going to find the equation itself that has the roots of negative 1, 2, and 4. It's very easy. We have to go through with the what? With the choices. And substitute simply negative 1, 2, and 4. And if that equal to 0, then that is the root. All should equal to 0. Okay, if one of the roots does not equal to 0, then that is not the equation. If two of the roots equal to 0, but the other one is not equal to 0, then that is not the equation. All of them, when substituted to the equation, should give 0 for us to be able to tell that that is really the equation. So we have alpha x cubed, then we have minus 5 alpha x squared, plus we have 2 alpha x plus 8. Calc. So we have negative 1. So it's equal to 0. We have calc again, 2 equal to 0. So you should not rejoice if that 2 equals to 0. But if 4 does not equal to 0, then that is not the correct answer. So we have 4. Okay, so we are lucky or we are blessed that we have picked first letter A as our answer. Okay. So it's a trial and error process. So you can see if we try letter B, let's say x cubed minus 4 alpha x squared plus 3 alpha x plus 8. Okay. So if we calculate negative 1, it's 0. Okay. 2, it's not 0. That's what I'm trying to say. And then 4, it's 20. So it's not really the equation. Okay, so all of them should equal to 0 when substituted if they are the real roots of the equation. Okay, so problem number 7. Find the solutions of the given equation. So we know that we have x squared minus 2x here. So we definitely have two roots here. Okay, so since this is an equal sign, so what are we going to do is to simply, we don't have to be good at algebra in solving this if you have a calculator. Okay. So since we have choices, so what are we going to do? We are going to do reverse engineering. So we have alpha. We are going to type this equation on the left side. Okay. And then x minus 2. And then plus 1 all over x, alpha x. So instead of putting equation or equal sign, I'm going to put what? Colon. Okay? So the colon, the purpose of colon is first, if we calculate this first equation on the left side, we're going to give some values of x. And that x, we will be drawing it from the choices. Okay? So, and another one, I have on the right side of the equation, 13 over x squared minus 2x. So, I'm going to press calc, okay? And then we're going to move through the choices and see if they have the same values for the two roots. If they have the same values, if they are equal, then that is the solution to the given equation. So, you can also use shift solve, but the shift solve here would actually give you a single root, okay, a single solution of x. So you would not be able to get the other roots. Okay, so this is more convenient for me, but also you can use it. So we have to solve. Input the value of x. We have 11. So the value of the left side of the equation when 11 is substituted is 47 all over 33. So it should equal, okay, the other side if that is a root. So it's not, okay, 13 over 99 is not the same value. So I will move on to letter B because this, if one is wrong here, we should move on to the other, okay? Because we will be wasting our time. It should be both correct, okay? So we have x equals negative 5 for letter B. So it's 13 over 35 and 13 over 35 for the right side of the equation. So we have a high hope that this letter B is the correct, but we still have to try 3, okay? We still have to try 3. X equals 3, so that's 13 over 3 for the left side, and Viola, 13 over 3 for the right side. And therefore, the answer for this given problem is equal to or equals B. Okay? So that is the solution to our problem. So again, thank you so much for listening. This is Engineer Abat. I hope you learned something for today's video, and I hope you pass the board exam. Okay? And I hope you apply. Will be a great help for you. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends, engineering friends or classmates. Okay? So for them also to learn how to use calculator techniques. So see you again on the next calculator techniques video all about the third derivative. So thank you so much for listening. Again, this is Engineer Abat, and God bless us all.